All right, y'all, bought this rental last week. $537 out of pocket. Really $525.32. I like to put my money where my mouth is. So you guys can see cash from borrower, $525.32. So you guys may be asking, how'd I find this deal? What's the plan with the deal? Should make about $80,000 in equity on this. And so I'm gonna roll you guys through, walk you through all the terms. I don't have anything to hide. We're here in Oklahoma City. And this was one of two that we bought last week, actually. So this is a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. Bought this for $140,000. Plans to put about $75,000 in rehab. And I'll tell you guys what it's worth here in just a little bit. Okay, so let me show you guys this real quick. Looking around the house, we've got a ton of settlement. This is actually one of the worst foundations that I've seen in a while. Look at this separation here. You're always gonna see some sort of separation around the garage, like if there's been movement. And then over here, we've got quite a bit of separation. Look at this, the whole porch is kind of like leaning off. This would scare a lot of people, but it does not scare me any bit. I'll tell you guys how much in foundation issues that we've got here in just a few. Look at the separation around the brick up here. But this is a solid house. Solid wood doors. I'll show you guys why this is a solid house here in a little bit. But let's walk around the exterior real quick. So this was actually brought to me off market by a wholesaler in town. He knows that I buy deals, and I'm also known to close. If I say I'm gonna buy something, I'm gonna buy it. And so he brought me this deal. We negotiated it out. Long story short, bought it last week. We're gonna need all new windows on this. Here's one thing I didn't catch, and this might be a real pain in the ass. There's no gas meter. So when there's no gas meter, a lot of times the gas company is gonna require a pressure test. And so goal number one next week, get a pressure test done, make sure that we have no leaks, and get the gas on, get all the utilities on, so that way we don't have to worry about it later on. But you can see, like, when you guys are out walking these deals, you need to be looking at the brick. You see, listen to this wall. You can see quite a bit of movement there. This is gonna need some brick ties, and then we're gonna need piers. I think we've got 25 piers priced out on this. It's $15,000 in foundation, which is gonna be a real headache, but it is what it is. It's just part of this job. That's why this rehab is gonna be so expensive, actually, is because of the foundation itself. So he brought me this deal. HVAC, I believe, works. We should be good there. Usually whenever I walk these, I start on the exterior just to see kind of the flow. I wanna check if there's any cracking, which of course there's a ton. And then I just wanna check if there's anything that seems unusual. But really, it's a pretty clean deal. The one unusual thing about this property here, which would make it less desirable for a flip, is this backyard. You see, you come out the back, and this is kind of a higher end or upper middle class area, and you've got the neighbor's backyard right here, which is really funky. We can put a fence up, you've got that whole side yard, and then our tenants will have this whole side yard over here as well. This may be my nicest rental that I've ever bought, actually, y'all. And I'm gonna lose money on it probably, monthly, and I'll tell you guys why I'm gonna keep it here in a little bit. But we need new windows here, decent amount of landscaping. Should be pretty simple job on the exterior though. So the goal is next Saturday, we've got the foundation company coming out. We've got $15,000 worth of piers going in. That's, I believe it comes out to about $650 per steel pier being put in. So 15,000 divided by 25 piers, $600 per steel pier. That is Hard Rock Foundation. If you guys are in Oklahoma City, they do a good job. They've done quite a bit of deals for us. After the foundation is done, and the reason why we're doing foundation first is the house is gonna shift. So we're gonna have cracks in the walls. We're gonna have stuff move around whenever they do the foundation. So I want them coming in first, so that way when our guys come in, we can fix all the settling cracks and it's not gonna move again from there. I mean, we're piering the whole house all the way around, so there won't be any movement from there. All piers are, y'all, in case you're like unsure what they are, at least here in Oklahoma, they drive steel piers down to bedrock. I don't know how deep it is, but once they anchor into bedrock, the house usually doesn't move much. And since they're doing it all the way around, there should be really no shifting. A lot of times you see it on commercial buildings, high rises, and like luxury properties, but they don't do it on the lower end properties. And in Oklahoma, we just have a lot of clay, and so that's why you see a lot of the shifting. But something was not done right on this property. There should not be as much shifting as there's been. This is more movement than the tornado house that I did. By the way, I've got a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a little different, that's why, y'all. But they left everything in here. Actually got some slick little golf clubs out of this. And I don't golf, but everybody I know golfs, I guess, nowadays. So I might have to golf a little bit. But if you guys look here, you can see quite a bit of separation. We're gonna pull this tile up, and I bet you there's a massive crack up under here. Once again, this would scare a lot of people. It doesn't scare me. It's fixable. It's all fixable. And I already had a structural engineer out. That's the main thing that gives me confidence. I didn't just call a pier company when I knew that it had a lot of shifting. I called a structural engineer, and I actually knew on the front end before we went under contract that this was gonna need a lot of foundation work. So I kind of priced in, I'd priced in about 15,000, and that's exactly how much it's gonna cost us. So I got lucky on that. Didn't have to renegotiate or anything, and I made the numbers work. But it's a nice house. You know, we've got tall ceilings in here. Got freaking spiders crawling up on us. It's been vacant for a while, but overall, this is the primary suite here. We're gonna come in, the goal is to rip in all new cosmetics. I'm gonna keep all of the original wood. Like these are solid core doors. That's a lot of times how you can determine like a nicer quality house versus a lower end house. They don't do this as much. Dude, I see, guys and gals, I see soft or hollow core doors, which is where they're hollow on $1 million houses now because they just build shit cheap. You see, this is actually solid core. Everything in this house is solid core, so it's like nice wood. But in here, we don't need to retexture any of the house. We're gonna rip in new ceiling fans. We'll do new luxury vinyl plank all throughout since this is gonna be a rental. We're not gonna put carpet anywhere because it'll go bad. We'll rip this out. We're gonna do a freestanding tub. To make this, depending on what our timeline looks like and so we can stay within budget, we may tile around here, which we've done on a flip before, or we may just sheetrock it. Tile would be better, would last longer, but sheetrock is gonna be, it's gonna be cheaper. We're gonna rip this out, do a shower pan, throw some 12 by 24 tiles in. We usually do them up to the ceiling. Looks really good, and in case I ever wanna sell this property, I get top dollar for it. Dude, all the cabinets are in good shape though. We're gonna keep all this. We'll do new granite here. We'll do 2 new sinks, 2 new faucet fixtures, keep this mirror, and then new light fixture there. That's where the toilet's at, and then it's got this big closet. But yeah, check these out, y'all. I know I'm not usually a suit guy. Let's see. You guys will have to tell me if you think I can rock the suit. Yeah, probably not. I tried one on the other day. It looked horrible on me. If you guys are in Oklahoma City, you guys want some suits, let me know. I'll ship them out. How about this? Drop a comment if you guys want these suits. You pay for shipping, you can have all the suits. I don't know what sizes there are. They're probably large. I'm 5'8" on a good day. So you guys saw how big it was. So in here, we're ripping all new luxury vinyl plank. We're gonna remove these 12 by 12 tiles. Once again, sheetrock's in really good shape. We're gonna keep that, replace all these light fixtures. I mean, once the foundation's done and the roof is gonna be a big one. $10,000 to replace this roof because it has so many different pitches. It's a 40 square roof. Once we do those, I mean, we just rip in new cosmetics and we're good to go. This granite actually, yeah, Logan says no. We're gonna replace the granite. Granite in here is probably gonna be about $2,200. It's a decent amount of granite. But new granite, new backsplash, it'll look good in here. Cabinets are in good shape. Don't need to replace any of that. I guess they had like some dead cats in here for a couple years, but I don't smell, I mean, it doesn't smell bad to me. There ain't much involved. So let me get to the numbers now. Bought this for $140,000. We had right at $6,000 in closing costs. So the closing costs weren't the cheapest. I'll show you guys a settlement statement here. So 117,650. That's what price the wholesaler had it under contract at. So a lot of times, like when you guys are looking at a settlement statement, if you're buying from a wholesaler, this might look off because the title company is going to use the price they locked it up at, and then they're going to put their assignment fee in there. So you can see settlement charges to borrower. These are my buy-side closing costs. This is going to be my title fees and lender fees, $6,124 or $26. And then we've got the assignment fee, $22,350. I'm happy for this guy. I'm happy he brought me the deal, and he made 22 grand, and I'm gonna go make 80 in equity, and I'll tell you guys how here in a little bit. And then you can see holdback, and I'm not even gonna hide my bank here. First Bank of Bethany, $76,681. So I can go draw out $76,000 on this project at any time. So other than that, I had my earnest money, $2,500. This is a settlement statement, by the way, y'all. This is how you read one. You can see principal amount of new loan, $216,000. So by the time I'm all done with this and I draw out this $76,000, my new loan amount is going to be $216,000. We've got the county taxes that that I had to pay, $3,000 there, and we've got the total paid by borrower, $222,000. That'll be my all-in, and I'll tell you guys what this will be worth here in a second. So I was able to secure 100% financing. So that is for the purchase and the rehab. That's why my bring to close is $525.32. So I don't know what else you guys can do where you can bring $525 to closing, put 90 days of sweat equity, which is with our guys, we're gonna get our crews in here, and then force the value of the property, which our after repair value appraisal came in at $300,000, which if you subtract that from the $220,000, means I'll have created $80,000 in equity on this property. So why would I keep it if it's gonna lose money? That is the big question. That's like it's a big no-no for a lot of investors. Here's the garage, by the way, y'all. Not that anybody really cares about a garage, but it's here and it's doing its thing. It's a big garage. Here, when we step outside, I'll tell you guys why we're gonna keep this property. So I'm gonna be all in 220, worth 300. And the main reason why I'm gonna keep this is because of tax purposes. And I'll tell you guys why here. Look, school's getting off. So if we run the numbers, commercial banks typically are gonna finance on a 7-year note. And so if we run the numbers, the loan amount of $216,681 on a 20-year note at 7% interest, that puts my monthly payment, so principal interest, at $1,679 per month. Well, this property here is gonna rent for about $2,000 a month. So by the time you add in taxes and insurance, which taxes are gonna be about $300 a month, insurance gonna be about $250 a month. If you take $1,679 plus $250 plus $300, we're in $2,229. Well, then you have to add in capital expenditures, vacancy, because this property is going to be vacant a portion out of the year if somebody doesn't stay in here. You've got to add in maintenance. There's going to be simple maintenance that needs to be done on the property every year. I'm going to lose money. I'll probably lose $300 to $500 per month. Now, another option that I have, and this is just running like the same numbers, is if I took this $216,000, I refied it with a DSCR lender, then I go 30-year note at 7% interest. That drops my payment to $1,441. So I save $200 a month. And so maybe it'll be a break-even deal after paying principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. But if I keep this property, I'll have a $216,000 all-in cost basis on it. I can pull the depreciation all year one. And so typically that's called a cost segregation. And so if I pull the depreciation all year one, we'll just say that my accountant's able to save me 30% of this total cost of this property. If we multiply the $216,000 by 30%, that's $65,000 that I can pull off of what my current income is for the year. So anyways, $65,000 there, and then we add in $80,000 that I'm going to save for my taxes, which I'm not going to save $64,000, but there's a huge spread here. I don't want to tell you guys wrong. If the way you would calculate this is you would pull the $64,000 off of, I'll pull it off of my income. Now, I'm not a CPA, so make sure you guys verify with your own accountants and whatnot, but my accountant says that we're able to pull that off of our income if we buy this and hold it as a traditional rental. And then we're gonna have the $80,000 in equity. And so my goal is to hold this into next year. I'll lose $300-400 a month. I can't remember exactly what it was on my spreadsheet, but I'll lose a couple $100 a month. And then coming into next year, hopefully rates come down and I can refinance this property at a lower rate. Or worst case scenario, if they don't, when this tenant rents out and they're on a 1-year lease, they rent out, I can sell the property and 1031 into another deal. And so that's what I'm doing currently. I don't need any more flips for end of year. We've got a few flips that are on ground. Currently trying to hold everything that I can so we can offset the tax bill that I currently have impending for end of year. And I'm looking for some multifamily deals or commercial deals. But it's hard for me to go and hold a multifamily deal. You know, I've been looking at them all week long, 20, 25 unit deals. They're $1.5 million, $1.7 million when they don't make any money on paper. Like, there's zero money. They're worse than this deal here. Instead of losing $300 a month, they're losing $600, $1,000 a month, but then you're also spending $250,000 or $350,000 down. So anyways, I'm not a slumlord. It's kind of, I was thinking about that today. Went and looked at 3 deals in South Oklahoma City, and this lady's just slumming them out. You know, the flooring's in horrible shape. The bathrooms, I think I took a photo of one. The bathrooms got mold in the shower, and yeah, look at this. I can't say mold. I mean, it's not been tested, but it's just, it was nasty. The whole place was nasty. And I got to thinking, I'm like, if I slummed stuff out and if I bought stuff and just did the bare minimum, it would be easier to make money. But I want my assets to be in good shape, and I want to be able to exit these and have liquidity at any point. You know, for me, if I fix this up to its top dollar, I'm going to get a better tenant in here, which will take better care of it. And then if I decide to sell this in a year, I can sell it because it doesn't matter what else is on the market. I know that I'm going to bring a premium product. So anyways, that's how we bought this, $525 or whatever out of pocket, and we're going to create $80,000 in equity. We'll keep you guys posted as we go through the progress on this project here. Should be, I'd say we're probably 5 weeks out from being done. We're backlogged from some other projects, but hope that adds a little bit of value. If you guys want the full numbers breakdown on this, drop a comment, shoot me a DM on Instagram, and I'll catch you guys later.